GM Radio, King Live Caribbean Showcase. Second interview for the night. The legendary Ras Menelik. I'll let you introduce yourself.
Well, blessed love in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor K.L.C. I and Empress Menelik, my mother of Ethiopia. Well, first, I must declare myself in my colonial status, and then I will give you my Ethiopian status. My colonial status, Fitzgerald Rentitus Eduardo da Costa. My Ethiopian royal status is Gabriel Miriam Menelik da Costa the third. I am a second of a twin, which my brother name is Eileen Michael.
Okay. Now, I've been around your presence before. Now, I've learned from being around your presence. I don't need to really talk much. I just like to listen when I'm around you, honestly. And what we're gonna do right now is I'm gonna have the listeners get a glimpse into who Ras Menelik is. Hopefully you give our listeners some of these stories that I've been honored to hear before in the past. Let's start off with you, a musician. How do you describe yourself as a musician?
Well, first I'm going to describe myself as one note in the scale. I can't do more than one note.
Okay.
See, that's where I lay myself.
Okay, so you are, do you consider yourself a singer? Do you consider yourself a chanter?
Well, first I'm going to tell you, from I man come out of the mother's womb, I and I twin brother, and I've been singing to the Most High God, Jah Rastafari, K.L.C. I the first, and Empress Menelik. So I would say I was born a singer from the mother's womb. And the whole Iman family lineage is musician. From the Da Costa to the Clark to the Williams to the Macintosh. They are all my family. So I man come from a musical family background. See?
Okay. Now, your history in this music thing runs very, very deep. Very deep. From doing music with the legendary Bob Marley to a range of other artists. But where did you actually get your start musically? When did you start recording music, or were you...
Well, I'm going to tell you the first man to ever record I-Man was the Honorable O.M. Leroy Sibbles of the Heptones.
Yes.
The grandfather.
And how did that come about?
Well, at the time, it was in the 1970s, I was amongst the mighty, they call him the cool ruler. I call him Hitler. The mighty Gregory Isaac. My group, the Congos, Dennis Brown, Junior De La Rey, Junior Delgado, Hugh Mondale, and the crew. Oriel Sandy, the whole I and I used to be in one crew. So you see, I man get a lot of experience from a lot of artists. And growing up in a place named Dunkirk, I man grew amongst the group. Now today call themselves Psalms too they sing with Bunny Whalers. And at the time their name was the Mighty Gaylords. And through, you know that through the gay system, no one want to use the word Gaylords no more, so singing amongst Bunny Whalers, they changed the name from Gaylords to Psalms.
Okay. So now, what time frame would you say you, as an artist, actually started recording music professionally with producers?
Well, it was in the 70s, you know.
Okay. And once again, you said Leroy Sibbles was the first.
First one, then from there, so you have Augustus Pablo, Rockers International All Stars.
Okay, I got to stop you there. You told us about Leroy Sibbles, but you didn't give me more behind how you actually met Leroy Sibbles. But I'm not gonna let you get.
Well, I'm gonna tell you now. When you see when it come to the Heptones, the Heptone was my favorite artist from ever since I was a little young youth growing up. And I know Leroy Sibbles from a youthful days in Churchtown. So I get to know a lot of the artists them by through my yard was a big dancehall place. Only the artists coming out my yard.
Okay.
So I get to know them through that transition.
You grew amongst them.
I.
Okay. So you said the Heptones were your favorites. You built that relationship through the artists being close to you.
Yeah.
But I had to stop you because Augustus Pablo is one of my favorite producers. So selfishly, I want to know more about
Augustus.
how you. Yes.
Well, you see, Augustus and I, man, come from a long Eastern. Because we are schoolmates.
Okay.
See, when I sight up the fate of K.L.C.S the first. See, I mother who grew up on the Babylonian Christian side. Throughout I and I twin flesh out of her house because she said she can't have K.L.C. and Jesus Christ in her house. So you see, Augustus Pablo now, as a musician, he'd have a house up in Garden Town. And he used to gather musicians where Wally Pan and I didn't get recognition by other artists or other musicians. So Augustus would take I and I in camp and groom us, and we start to do recording.
Okay.
You know?
Now, it's a lot of history here. Before we go back into the music and what you're doing now, I really want the listeners to get in tune with who Ras Menelik is. You once told me a story about recording a record with Bob Marley.
Yeah. Well, you see, when I'm on old lady run I out of the house, and I live at a place named House of Dread. But you see, over House of Dread you used to have Skill Colt, Bob Marley, Bunny Waders. They used to come over there and play football. And one evening, Skill Colt tell me, Menelik, I don't want the sleep better no more. And Bob said to I just buy a place, a 56 old Hope Road there I can come live amongst I. So that's how I get to be amongst the Whalers. Although I didn't know Bob from a youthful days when we used to come and buy peanut from my man mother. So it's a long tradition with Whalers, you know, cause I'm on blood family that.
Okay.
Baba Iman bigger brother. He became like more than even a brother to I. He became like a father figure to I. Because as I tell you, mother and father forsake I if you say K.L.C.S is the Almighty. And I'm sure I and I flesh you out and Bob take I in.
Okay. And there was another story where you were waiting a voice with somebody and Bob came around the corner for the football.
Yeah, well you wanna see with that song where you want to know about, I'm going to tell you the full history of that song.
Yes.
Which is Africa Unite. You see, one day I, Santa Davis, and Lefto Dan Sutherland, who used to play both for Burning Spear and for Rockers International All-Star as a bassman, Santa and Pablo used to work amongst Soul Syndicate also. So when you check it out now, Burning Spear had a session with Lefto and they tell a man to come along with them. But Burning Spear never turned up the day for the session. And Bob came round in the yard kicking up football saying, and just keeping up and singing Africa Unite, and the ball bounced off his feet and came right around the corner where and I did sit down under the mango tree in the yard. And when I check it, Bob said to us, well, Santa, what you do here? And Santa said, well, me wait for Burning Spear to do a session. So I'm say to Burning, to Santa, I can go look for my billboard what time it is. So when I check it now, when Bob came out, Bob said like Burning Spear time was over. So I'm saying can't have no musician sit down in my yard, nah do nothing. So I'm tell Santa go in the studio and go around the drums, and him tell Lefto that to follow him what he's playing and find a bass line. And Wire was there and they laid the rhythm. Then after that Bob said to me, go and play some percussions on the rhythm. That's how Africa Unite came about.
Okay. One of my favorite Bob Marley records actually, and it's a story that I'm happy we can let the listeners hear, because most people just see the pictures of Bob or hear the music and don't know, we're not close enough to people who are actually around him to hear these stories. What we're gonna do right now is we're gonna play Africa Unite for the listeners, and then we're gonna come back. I know you got music you're working on. We're still gonna get into that. We're gonna discuss that music.
Yeah.
But
I would like to even tell you too, one of the first man that ever produced vocally was the Honorable Lincoln
Sugar.
Booga
Boga. Mine.
Marinata Maringa Lincoln, Rolls Royce, Benz, Jaguar, Minot was the first man to record vocally.
Okay. We're gonna come back with a couple more of these stories.
Yeah, and before they are even go any further, the first song what I man ever write in creation, sing by the Honorable Dennis Brown, name Woe Be Unto the Bloody City. That's the first song that I write and compose.
Okay,
Wow.
you see, you're getting ahead of me now, Ras. You're getting ahead of me.
No, well, I'm
I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there. I know you had a bunch of stories and we're gonna get into it, but we're gonna let the listeners hear this record. Sniper. Legendary Bob Marley with Ras Menelik on the percussions. Okay, before we went on that little break, you mentioned you also wrote for Dennis Brown. You voiced for Sugar Minott. Okay, so now I'm trying to pinpoint you as an artist now, because you gave us a story about you playing the percussions for Bob Marley, and you alluded to writing for Dennis Brown. Again, you were amongst numerous artists. How did the writing for Dennis Brown come about?
Well, you see, first I must tell you, I and the brethren were named Earl China Simit, what we also call Melchizedek. Zayman give him the name, Melchizedek. Well, you see, I and Melchizedek used to sit down daily and read the Bible. So you see, one day, I man opened up the Bible, and the first thing came to I was Nahum chapter 3. And I man said to China, here is a song where I can write. So I man start to give him verses from Nahum chapter 3. We sing, boyo, 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 boyo. Woe be unto the bloody city that is filled with liars and robbers and thieves. Depart from evil and do good. Depart from evil and do good. To-dum, 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 ba-da. To-dum, 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 to-dum. Some put their trust in chariot, some put their trust in gold, some put their trust in vanity, but I not put our trust in the Most High and I. So depart from evil and do good. So that's where that line first came from. Then I close forward the Bible and open it forward again, and there came Jeremiah chapter 10, which should tell you about the foolish and the brutish men who did not understand the wise mind of the Almighty. And then I close forward the Bible again and then open it, and it come up to Psalms 42. So some put their trust in chariots and some in horses. So it's so Bloody City came about. And then out of Bloody City, the next line what came out of it is, some put their trust in vanity and have no love for humanity. And then came a next song come out of that, which Dennis Brown sing also.
Which song is that?
Some put their trust in vanity and have no love for humanity. Fade away.
Yes.
Came out of also a verse of Bloody City.
Okay. A lot of history. This is what I'm talking about. TGM Radio, K.L.C.S Caribbean Showcase. Sugar mining.
Alright, well, when it comes to sugar now, the great honorable Godfather. You see, sugar miner is a little U-time for as I self as a Gemini who is very compassionate. When other producers would have said a man a sing half key, Sugar would have even take you as an artist who sing half key and train you to sing a right key. And whatsoever note what you cannot carry, Sugar Miner to tell you, say, don't try to go over the note what you cannot carry and make yourself break down. So the Honorable Booger Miner was a coach to I and I.
Yes.
And he was a man who loved to support young youth artists. So sometimes Booger would have even go to himself and go in a film own pocket and produce I and I as artists. And sometimes what he would do would take I and make I sing back harmonies on his record that we get recognition in the world. So sometimes I want to even know, say, is I man I sing certain of the harmonies behind Booger Miner, because he would have come forward and sing a next harmony around what I am singing.
Okay. For someone as involved in the music from the aspect of playing the instruments, are there any other instruments you play besides the percussion?
Well, right now I'm learning to play the keyboard, a little bass, and a little guitar,
Okay. So
and drop drums.
okay. So you're trying to get a piece of everything.
Yeah.
You recently went to Jamaica.
Yeah.
What was that trip about, if you don't mind me?
Well, first it was the anniversary of His Imperial Majesty coronation of his 100th year being crowned as Crown Prince Rastafari, and then his 50th year anniversary visiting Jamaica. And while I was in Jamaica, I did some recording with Fred Locks and Caveman.
Okay. Now you are actively recording. You're actively recording music. You have a project that I've been told it's a work in progress. So we're gonna get into some music off of that. I'm gonna have you tell the fans a little bit more about what we've played for them so far. But once again, what we're gonna do for the listeners is give you a legendary artist. Rest in peace to the Crown Prince Dennis Brown. But again, keep in mind the lyrics, the words that you're hearing coming out of Dennis Brown mouth was written by the great Ras Menelik, who's here in the studio with us tonight. TGM Radio, K.L.C Caribbean Showcase.